Just as the French language seems to flower everywhere there's a vine, head indoors and you're equally apt to stumble across one Gallic term after another. So here we are, à la cave, in the cellar. The English cave might seem a bit dramatic, but if you've been into Loire Valley cellars cut from tuffeau, that yellowish cream limestone, or explored Champagne cellars hewn from chalk, la cave is a fitting term. Incidentally, the Spanish term cava for traditional method sparkling wine, principally from Catalonia, comes from the same word. But I digress. So, lots of things happen in the cave, including usually fermentation. The English word fermenter is kind of misleading because unlike the toaster or blender in your kitchen, the fermenter doesn't do what it says it does. It just sits there while the must or grapes ferment. Anyway, the English vat tends to cover a lot of these vessels, the French equivalent being une cuve. You might hear the term cuve close too. This refers to a sealed tank and is an alternative name for the tank method or méthode Charmat of making sparkling wine. It's a relatively quick, cheap, easy way to produce fizz suited to aromatic varieties. Most Prosecco is made this way, but the Italians call it the Martinotti method because Charmat was a Frenchman and Martinotti was one of their own. The time the wine spends in the cuve, fermenting and, for a red or orange wine, resting on skins, is called la cuvaison. Le décuvage denotes the process of emptying the fermented and macerated fruit from the vat to be pressed. Also derived from the word cuve, frequently used and sometimes confusing, is une cuvée. It makes sense if you think of it as a containerful, and most commonly it refers to a blended lot of wine. Remember that word assemblage? So it might be a blend of grape varieties, regions, vineyards, or vintages, bottled after being assembled in a cuve. So when you see it on a label, it just means it's a particular lot, but not necessarily particularly special. On the other hand, if you see the term la tête de cuvée coming from the French for head, it means the estate's top bottling, so you'd hope it's good. To muddy this issue, when applied at the processing stage, especially in Champagne, the word cuvée refers to the first, most delicate and pristine juices to flow from the press. When applied after maturation and blending in sparkling wine, it goes back to that notion of a particular assemblage, like this delicious thing. A cuve or vat might be made from various materials, maybe wood, une cuve en bois, or concrete, en béton, or en ciment. Even in glass, en verre, or most commonly, en acier inoxydable. L'acier is the French for steel, and since the French are more worried about oxidation than stains, l'acier inoxydable is stainless steel. Thankfully, they usually shorten this to just l'inox. You might hear the word la cuverie to describe the room full of cuve. In some cellars, the cuverie, the place where fermentation takes place, might be separate from the part where maturation takes place. Sometimes the latter will be referred to as le chai. The distinction in English might be between the winery and the barrel room or barrel hall where the wines mature. The common term for maturation is élevage, from élever, to lift or raise, which shares its root with the English elevate. Not so strange when you think of a wine as you would a child that you're raising to be a well-rounded adult. The term for schoolchild, un élève, shares the same etymology, which is cute. Kind of related, the French for yeast is la levure. It is the stuff that helps bread to rise, or lever, unless we're talking about unleavened bread, that is. Anyway, you're raising your wine and you have a lot of choices. You can opt for any of the materials used for the cuve we spoke of, or maybe un amphora. If wood's your thing, you have a whole range of options. Generally, these are referred to as fût de chêne. Un fût is a cask and le chêne is the French word for oak. You'll often hear the word le tonneau, plural les tonneaux, which again is a cask of indeterminate size. Le tonnelier is the person who makes le tonneau at la tonnellerie, the cooperage. And then you can have a barrel of laughs learning the terms for the various casks. The general rule is the smaller and newer the cask, the greater the extraction of flavour and tannin, and the more rapid the evolution of the wine in the barrel. That's because the wine will draw out those components from a new or young barrel until there's nothing left to extract, and because with a smaller barrel you have more wine in contact with the wood and greater exposure to gentle oxidation in this non-inert vessel. There's often wriggle room in terms of capacity for these terms. Une barrique just means a barrel, but in Australia it's taken to refer to both une pièce bourguignonne, the 228-litre Burgundy barrel, and une barrique bordelaise, Bordeaux's 225-litre version. The Aussie puncheon refers to a larger 500-litre barrel. In French, le demi-muit refers to much the same thing, though it's most closely associated with the 600-litre barrel popular in the Rhône Valley. And you might have heard foudre bandied around. La foudre is bad news, lightning. Le foudre is good news, a big barrel with maybe multiple thousands of litres of wine.